old tree that shared cryptic riddles. Each step of their journey was filled with wonder and excitement. After several hours of exploring, they reached the heart of the forest, where they discovered a magnificent, ancient tree with a hollow trunk. Inside the trunk was a hidden compartment containing a beautifully crafted chest. The chest was adorned with intricate designs of stars and moons, and it seemed to radiate a soft, inviting glow. Elara opened the chest, and inside was a stunning crystal orb, glowing with a warm, golden light. The orb seemed to pulse with life and magic. Sir Cedric gazed at it in awe. This must be the treasure we sought. As Elara and Sir Cedric admired the orb, the magical creatures from the forest gathered around them, celebrating their discovery. The forest came alive with joyous music, and the air was filled with laughter and cheer. Elara turned to Sir Cedric. "What should we do with the orb?" Sir Cedric smiled. "The orb's magic is meant to bring prosperity and wisdom. We should take it back to the library and share its magic with the people of Luminera." Elara nodded in agreement. Using the quill once more, she wrote a final chapter in their story, describing how the orb would be used to benefit the kingdom. With that, the forest began to fade, and Elara and Sir Cedric found themselves back in the library. The quill's magic had returned them safely. Elara carefully placed the quill back in its ornate box and took the crystal orb to the village square. The villagers marveled at the orb's beauty and were thrilled to learn about the adventure and the magic it held. Under Elara's guidance, the orb was placed in the center of the town, where it brought prosperity and wisdom to Luminera. The enchanted forest, too, became a cherished part of the kingdom's lore, and Elara's tale of adventure and magic inspired many. From that day on, the library in Luminera was even more beloved. It was a place where stories came to life and where the magic of imagination and adventure was celebrated. Elara continued to explore new stories and share her discoveries, knowing that the quill's magic would always be a part of her adventures. And so, the kingdom of Luminera thrived, illuminated by the light of the crystal orb and the boundless imagination of a young girl who dared to dream. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a verdant valley surrounded by majestic mountains, there was a quaint village named Willowbrook. The village was known for its lush meadows, babbling brooks, and, most notably, a magnificent old willow tree that stood at the edge of the forest. This willow, with its sweeping branches and whispering leaves, was believed to hold ancient magic. The villagers revered the willow, for it was said that it could grant wisdom to those who approached it with a pure heart. But over the years, the tree had become a legend, and many had forgotten the true extent of its magic. In this village lived a brave and curious young girl named Eliza. Eliza was known for her adventurous spirit and kind heart. She had always been fascinated by the stories about the willow and had spent many afternoons playing beneath its branches. But lately, the village had been plagued by a terrible drought. The streams had dried up, the fields had turned brown, and the villagers were worried about their future. Determined to help, Eliza decided to seek out the wisdom of the whispering willow. One bright morning, as the sun cast its golden light over the valley, she made her way to the ancient tree. The willow's leaves rustled softly in the breeze, and its branches swayed gently, creating a soothing melody. As Eliza approached, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. She placed her hand on the tree's rough bark and spoke softly, "Oh, wise whispering willow, our village is suffering from a drought. We need your guidance to bring back the water and restore our land." The willow's branches trembled, and a soft, melodic voice spoke from the tree. "Brave Eliza, the solution to your village's plight lies hidden within the heart of the forest. You must find the crystal spring, a magical source of water that has been concealed for many years. Only with true courage and kindness will you be able to uncover it." Eliza listened intently. "How will I find the crystal spring?" she asked. "The path to the spring is guarded by 3 trials," the willow explained. "Each trial will test your bravery, wisdom, and compassion. Overcome them, and the way to the crystal spring will be revealed." With determination in her heart, Eliza set off into the forest. The trees seemed to part for her, guiding her along the path. The first trial came soon after, a dark, tangled thicket where a fierce-looking guardian, a great bear with glowing eyes, stood blocking her way. Eliza took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I seek the crystal spring to help my village. I mean no harm." The bear's eyes softened, and it spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "To pass this trial, you must show courage. Cross this thicket, and you shall proceed." Eliza carefully navigated the thicket, using her wit and agility to avoid the thorny branches. As she emerged on the other side, the bear nodded in approval, allowing her to continue. The second trial was a vast, still pond surrounded by eerie fog. In the center of the pond was a small island with a riddle inscribed on a stone pedestal. Eliza waded into the water and read the riddle aloud. "I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and rivers but no water. What am I?" Eliza pondered for a moment and then answered, "A map." The fog lifted, revealing a hidden path leading through the pond to the island. She retrieved a small, glowing key from the pedestal and continued her journey. The final trial was the most challenging, a steep, rocky climb to a cavern where a gentle voice beckoned her. Inside the cavern, Eliza found a golden chest, but it was locked. The key she had found was the only way to open it. As she unlocked the chest, she discovered a beautiful, crystal-clear vial filled with sparkling water. The vial shimmered with a soft, celestial light. Returning to Willowbrook, Eliza hurried to the village. The villagers gathered around, their faces full of hope. Eliza poured the water from the vial into the dried-up riverbed, and immediately, the ground began to tremble. Water gushed forth, filling the streams and revitalizing the land. The fields turned green again, and the villagers cheered with joy. The Whispering Willow's magic had restored the village, and Eliza's bravery and compassion had brought relief to her people. From that day on, the village of Willowbrook thrived once more, and the legend of the Whispering Willow was renewed with a new tale of courage and kindness. Eliza continued to explore and help others, always guided by the wisdom she had gained from her adventure. The Whispering Willow remained a beloved part of Willowbrook, its branches ever whispering tales of magic and wonder. And so, under the rejuvenated sky and the lush, green landscape, Willowbrook lived happily ever after, forever grateful to the brave girl who restored their land with a touch of magic and a heart full of courage. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled in a lush valley, there was a little girl named Lyra. Lyra was known throughout the village for her curiosity and kindness. She lived with her grandfather, who was a retired clockmaker. Their home was filled with timepieces of all shapes and sizes, each with its own intricate story. One day, while exploring the attic, Lyra found an old, dusty chest. Inside, she discovered a beautiful locket shaped like a crescent moon, adorned with tiny, sparkling stars. The locket was unlike anything she had ever seen, with delicate engravings and a soft, silvery glow. Intrigued, Lyra took the locket to her grandfather. He examined it carefully and said, "This is no ordinary locket. Legend has it that a magical locket like this one can reveal hidden wonders and grant one special wish, but only when the moon is at its fullest." Lyra was thrilled. That night, a full moon would grace the sky, and she couldn't wait to see if the legend was true. As twilight fell, she carefully placed the locket around her neck, its cool surface comforting against her skin. When the moon rose high and bright, Lyra felt a gentle tug on the locket. She held it in her hand, and as she whispered her wish for a grand adventure, the locket began to glow brightly. In a swirl of silver light, she found herself transported to a breathtakingly beautiful land, filled with sparkling rivers and glowing flora. The magical land was alive with the soft hum of melodies and the gentle flutter of iridescent creatures. As Lyra wandered through this enchanted realm, she encountered a wise and gentle creature, a moonlit deer with fur that shimmered like stardust. "Welcome, Lyra," the moonlit deer said in a voice as soft as a night breeze. "I am Celestia, guardian of the moonlit grove. Your wish has brought you here. This realm is a place of dreams and wonders, but it is also in need of your help." Lyra listened intently as Celestia continued, "The heart of our realm, the moonstone tree, has lost its light. The tree's magic keeps our world alive and beautiful, but it is fading. Only the purest of hearts can restore its brilliance." Without hesitation, Lyra agreed to help. Guided by Celestia, she ventured deeper into the moonlit grove to find the moonstone tree. As she approached, she saw that the once magnificent tree was now withered and dim, its leaves a dull gray. Celestia explained that to restore the moonstone tree's light, Lyra needed to gather 3 magical ingredients: a drop of dew from the silver falls, a feather from the nightingale of the stars, and a petal from the eternal bloom. Lyra embarked on her quest, starting at the silver falls. The falls were a cascade of liquid moonlight, and with careful patience, she collected a single drop of dew. Next, she ventured into the starlit forest, where she found the nightingale of the stars perched on a branch. The bird's feathers glowed softly, and it willingly gifted Lyra one of its feathers. The final task was to find the eternal bloom, a rare flower that only opened under the full moon. Lyra searched through the grove until she found the flower, its petals radiating a gentle, ethereal light. She carefully plucked one petal and returned to the moonstone tree. With the ingredients in hand, Lyra and Celestia performed the ritual. Lyra sprinkled the dew, placed the feather, and gently laid the petal at the base of the moonstone tree. A soft, magical glow began to emanate from the tree, growing stronger and brighter until it was shining with a dazzling light. The entire moonlit grove came alive with color and magic once more. The creatures of the realm rejoiced, and Celestia expressed her deepest gratitude. "You have restored the heart of our world, Lyra. Your bravery and kindness have brought back the light we so dearly needed." As a token of their appreciation, Celestia gifted Lyra a small crystal vial filled with moonlight. "This will allow you to visit our realm whenever you wish. Simply hold it under the full moon, and the magic will guide you." With a heart full of joy and wonder, Lyra returned to her village, the locket still glowing softly around her neck. She cherished the vial of moonlight, knowing it held the promise of future adventures. Lyra continued to live her days with a sense of magic and possibility. She often shared her stories with the villagers, inspiring them with the wonders of the moonlit grove. And each full moon, she would look at the locket and the vial, remembering the adventure that taught her the true magic of kindness and courage. And so, the village was forever touched by Lyra's enchanting journey, and her tales of the moonlit grove became a cherished part of their lore. Once upon a time, in a realm where the night sky was always adorned with a tapestry of twinkling stars, there lay a hidden valley called Moonvale. Moonvale was a place of serene beauty, where luminous flowers glowed under the moonlight, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of night-blooming blossoms. At the heart of Moonvale stood a majestic silver tree known as the Moonstone Tree, whose branches bore shimmering fruits known as moonstones. These stones were said to hold magical melodies that could heal, bring peace, and reveal hidden truths. In the village of Larkspur, just beyond the borders of Moonvale, lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her extraordinary musical talent. Her voice could enchant the birds, and her harp could make the trees sway with joy.
Hey,
She often dreamed of visiting Moonvale and discovering the secrets of the Moonstone Tree. One night, a sudden and mysterious darkness began to spread across the land, casting shadows over the once bright village and causing crops to wilt. The villagers grew anxious, and whispers of a curse began to spread. Desperate to save her home and uncover the source of the darkness, Lyra decided to embark on a journey to Moonvale, believing that the Moonstone Tree held the key to restoring light and harmony. Under the light of the full moon, Lyra set off towards Moonvale. Her path was illuminated by the soft glow of fireflies and the distant twinkling of stars. As she approached the edge of Moonvale, she encountered a wise old fox named Fenwick, who guarded the entrance to the valley. "Welcome, brave traveler," Fenwick said. "To enter Moonvale and approach the Moonstone Tree, you must prove that you seek the light with a pure heart and noble intentions. You must first solve a riddle." Fenwick's riddle was, "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Lyra thought for a moment, then replied, "A joke." Fenwick's eyes sparkled with approval. "You have answered correctly.
Wow, you blew
The
his
path to
brains
Moonvale
out.
is open."
Nice.
as Lyra ventured deeper into the valley. She arrived at a crystal-clear lake known as the Mirror Lake. The surface of the lake reflected not just her image but the true essence of her heart. The guardian of the lake, a graceful swan named Selene, awaited her. To cross the Mirror Lake, Selene said, "You must show that your heart is as pure as the waters of the lake. Share with me your deepest hope and the reason you seek the Moonstone Tree." Lyra gazed at her reflection in the lake and spoke with sincerity. "My village is shrouded in darkness, and I seek the Moonstone Tree to find the melody that can bring light and restore peace. I hope to heal my home and bring joy back to the hearts of my people." Selene nodded in understanding. "Your heart is true. The way across the lake is yours to follow." Selene waved her wings, and stepping stones emerged from the lake, leading Lyra safely across. She continued her journey, guided by the shimmering light of the moonstones that lined her path. At last, Lyra reached the Moonstone Tree. Its silver branches glowed with an ethereal light, and the moonstones hanging from its limbs pulsed with soft, melodious tunes. The tree's guardian, a celestial figure named Elara, appeared in a swirl of stardust. "Welcome, Lyra," Elara said with a voice like a gentle breeze. "To unlock the magic of the Moonstone Tree and restore the light, you must play a melody that resonates with the heart of the tree. Only then will the moonstones reveal their true power." Lyra took out her harp and began to play a beautiful, heartfelt melody. She played with all her love and hope, her music weaving through the air like a delicate thread of light. As the notes filled the air, the moonstones began to glow brighter, their melodies harmonizing with Lyra's music. Elara watched with approval as the darkness that had spread across the land began to recede, driven away by the light of the moonstones and the power of Lyra's melody. The Moonstone Tree shimmered with renewed brilliance, and its magic began to spread across the valley and beyond. With the Moonstone Tree restored, Lyra felt a surge of warmth and joy. She thanked Elara and made her way back to her village, carrying the essence of the moonstones with her. As she returned to Larkspur, she played the magical melody once more, and the darkness lifted from the land. The village was bathed in a soft, glowing light, and the crops began to flourish once again. The villagers rejoiced at the return of their prosperity and celebrated Lyra's bravery and musical gift. The tale of the melody of the moonstone became a cherished story in Larkspur, a reminder of the power of hope, music, and the light that can be found even in the darkest times. And so, the Moonstone Tree continued to stand at the heart of Moonvale, its melodies echoing through the night and reminding all who heard them of the magic that resides in the purest of hearts. Once upon a time, in a realm where time itself was a living entity, there was a magnificent kingdom known as the Clockwork Kingdom. The entire land was governed by intricate gears and cogs, and every building and creature moved with the precision of a grand clockwork mechanism. The kingdom was ruled by a wise old clockmaker named King Horatio, who maintained the delicate balance of time with his incredible inventions. King Horatio had a young daughter named Princess Elara, who was fascinated by the wonders of her father's creations. She spent her days exploring the palace's clock towers, tinkering with gears, and learning the art of clockmaking. Her greatest dream was to create something that would bring joy to everyone in the kingdom. One day, a mysterious and dark shadow appeared over the kingdom. The sun was obscured, and the once perfectly synchronized gears began to grind and falter. The kingdom's timekeeping was thrown into chaos, and the citizens grew anxious and confused. King Horatio, despite his expertise, could not restore the harmony. In a desperate bid to save the kingdom, King Horatio revealed a secret to Elara. "There is an ancient prophecy," he said, "that speaks of a legendary time crystal hidden deep within the enchanted forest. This crystal has the power to restore balance to time itself. You must find it and bring it back to save our kingdom." Elara was determined to help her father and her people. With a heart full of courage and a small, magical timepiece given to her by her father, she set off on a journey to the enchanted forest. The forest was a place of wonder and mystery, with trees that whispered secrets and streams that flowed with shimmering water. As Elara ventured deeper into the forest, the magical timepiece began to glow and guide her. The forest was filled with strange, mechanical creatures, clockwork birds, dancing gears, and shimmering, time-woven butterflies that seemed to help her along her way. After several days of travel, Alara reached the heart of the forest, where she found an ancient, forgotten clock tower standing tall among the trees. The tower was covered in vines and moss, and its gears were rusty and worn. Alara entered the tower and climbed the spiral staircase, following the glowing timepiece that led her to a hidden chamber. In the chamber, Alara discovered a grand, ornate clock face embedded in the wall. In the center of the clock face was a slot that perfectly matched the shape of the time crystal. The timepiece in her hand began to tick with a rhythmic pattern, and Alara knew that she was close. As she approached the clock face, a swirling vortex of shadows emerged, blocking her path. From the shadows stepped a dark, menacing figure, the Shadow Keeper, who had been causing the chaos in the kingdom. The Shadow Keeper's presence distorted the time around him, and he sought to keep the time crystal for himself. "You cannot take the crystal," the Shadow Keeper declared with a voice like grinding gears. "It belongs to me, and I will plunge the world into eternal darkness." Alara, undeterred by the Shadow Keeper's threats, stood firm. "The crystal belongs to the kingdom and its people. I will not let you take it." The Shadow Keeper challenged Alara to a battle of wits and skill, testing her knowledge of time and clockwork. With each challenge, Alara used her wits and her understanding of her father's teachings to solve complex puzzles and mechanical riddles. After a grueling contest, Alara managed to outsmart the Shadow Keeper, proving her worthiness. With a final, powerful move, she placed the time crystal into the slot in the clock face. The chamber was filled with a brilliant light, and the crystal's magic restored the harmony of time. The Shadow Keeper, defeated and disarmed, vanished into the shadows, his dark influence dissipated. Alara took the time crystal and began her journey back to the kingdom, her heart filled with hope. Upon her return, the kingdom was bathed in light as the gears and cogs resumed their perfect synchronization. The sun shone brightly once again, and the citizens rejoiced at the restoration of their harmonious world. King Horatio welcomed Alara with open arms, proud of her bravery and wisdom. The time crystal was placed in a special chamber within the palace, where it continued to radiate its magic, ensuring the stability of time in the kingdom. The Clockwork Kingdom thrived once more, and Princess Alara became renowned not only for her courage but also for her ingenuity and kindness. The kingdom celebrated with a grand festival, honoring Alara's heroism and the restoration of their world. Alara continued to work alongside her father, creating wonderful inventions and bringing joy to everyone in the kingdom. And so, the Clockwork Kingdom lived in harmony and prosperity, forever grateful for the bravery of Princess Alara and the magical time crystal that had saved them. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a quiet village bordered by dense forests and sparkling streams, lived a kind-hearted girl named Leora. She was known for her love of nature and her boundless curiosity. Every day, Leora wandered through the woods, discovering hidden nooks and marveling at the beauty of the natural world. One crisp autumn morning, while exploring a seldom-traveled path, Leora stumbled upon a small, ornate chest partially buried under a bed of golden leaves. The chest was decorated with intricate silver patterns of vines and flowers. Curious, Leora carefully brushed away the leaves and opened it. Inside was a delicate silver key, which shimmered with a soft, magical light. Attached to the key was a note written in elegant script: "To find the enchanted garden, seek the path that blooms under the moonlight. The key will reveal the entrance to a world of wonders." Excited by the discovery, Leora decided to wait until nightfall to follow the clue. As dusk settled and the full moon rose high in the sky, she made her way to the spot where she had found the chest. The moonlight cast a silvery glow on the forest, making the surroundings appear even more magical. Following the moonlit path, Leora noticed that the forest began to change. The trees sparkled with a faint, otherworldly light, and flowers bloomed in colors she had never seen before. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blossoms and the gentle hum of magical creatures. Soon, Leora arrived at an archway made of intertwining branches and flowers, bathed in moonlight. The archway seemed to pulsate with a soft, inviting glow. Leora took out the silver key and approached the archway. As she held the key up to the archway, it began to glow brightly, and a hidden door slowly emerged from within the archway's frame. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, Leora stepped through the door and found herself in a breathtaking garden. The enchanted garden was a realm of wonder, with trees bearing fruits of gold, flowers that sang melodious tunes, and sparkling streams that flowed with liquid starlight. In the center of the garden stood a magnificent palace made of crystal, reflecting the moonlight in a dazzling array of colors. As Leora wandered through the garden, she was greeted by its inhabitants, fairies with delicate wings, talking animals, and magical creatures of all kinds. They welcomed her with joy and led her to the palace. Inside the palace, she was greeted by a regal figure, a queen with a gown that shimmered like the night sky. The queen introduced herself as Queen Seraphina, the guardian of the enchanted garden. "Welcome, Leora," the queen said with a warm smile. "You have discovered our hidden realm and entered the enchanted garden. To honor your bravery and kindness, we have a special task for you. Our garden is in need of a new guardian of the Silver Key, someone with a pure heart and a deep love for nature." Leora listened intently as Queen Seraphina continued, "Our garden's magic has been fading because the old guardian's magic has grown weak. To become the new guardian, you must complete 3 trials that test your courage, wisdom, and compassion. Trial 1, the Lost Petal." The first trial led Leora to a beautiful glade where a single, precious petal of the moon blossom had been lost. The moon blossom was a rare flower that bloomed only under the light of the full moon, and its petals were essential for the garden's magic. Leora searched the glade and discovered that the petal had been carried away by a mischievous sprite. With patience and kindness, Leora approached the sprite and offered it a gift from her own collection of forest treasures. The sprite, touched by Leora's generosity, returned the petal and guided her back to the glade. Trial 2, the Enchanted Stream. The second trial brought Leora to the enchanted stream, which had become polluted and murky. The stream's magic was vital for the garden's health, and Leora needed to purify it. Using a special jar given by Queen Seraphina, Leora collected some of the stream's water and began to sing a soothing melody she had learned from the flowers. The water began to sparkle and clear, and the stream flowed with renewed clarity. The creatures of the garden rejoiced, and the stream's magic was restored. Trial 3, the Starlit Puzzle. The final trial led Leora to a grand chamber in the palace, where a starlit puzzle awaited her. The puzzle was a complex arrangement of glowing stones that needed to be placed in the correct order to reveal a hidden message. With careful observation and the guidance of the stars, Leora solved the puzzle. The message revealed the location of a hidden chamber filled with ancient knowledge and magic. As she entered the chamber, she discovered a beautiful, ancient book that contained the secrets of the garden's magic. With all trials completed, Queen Seraphina proclaimed Leora the new guardian of the Silver Key. The queen presented Leora with a magical pendant that would allow her to visit the enchanted garden whenever she wished and share its wonders with others. Leora returned to her village, her heart full of joy and wonder. She shared the story of her adventure and the magic of the enchanted garden with her friends and family. The village was enchanted by her tales, and the beauty of nature was celebrated and cherished more than ever. From that day on, Leora continued to care for the garden and its magic, ensuring that the enchanted garden remained a place of wonder and delight for all who discovered it. And so, the legend of Leora and the Silver Key became a beloved tale, a reminder of the magic that lies hidden in the world and the power of a pure heart and a deep love for nature. Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by hills, there lived a girl named Mira. She was no ordinary girl, she had a special gift. Wherever she walked, flowers would bloom. When she laughed, the wind would carry her joy to the farthest corners of the village. The villagers adored her, but there was one place Mira never went, the moonlit garden. The moonlit garden sat at the edge of the village, behind tall iron gates that had been locked for as long as anyone could remember. The garden had been abandoned for centuries, and rumors whispered that it was enchanted. At night, villagers claimed they could see the garden glow, bathed in the silvery light of the moon. No one dared to enter, for it was said that whoever stepped into the garden would be lost to its magic forever. Mira had always been curious about the garden, but her parents had forbidden her from going near it. It's dangerous, her mother had warned. The magic inside is unpredictable. But as years passed, Myra's curiosity grew, and the garden's mysterious glow seemed to call her. One night, when the moon was full and the village lay still, Myra found herself walking toward the garden, as though drawn by an invisible force. She reached the tall iron gates and peered through the bars. The garden was more beautiful than she had imagined. Flowers of every color shimmered in the moonlight, and vines climbed the stone walls as though reaching for the stars. Without thinking, Myra reached out and touched the gate. To her surprise, it swung open with a soft creak. She stepped inside, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. The moment she entered, the garden seemed to come alive. Flowers swayed as if greeting her, and a soft, warm breeze wrapped around her like an embrace. Myra felt a strange sense of peace, as if the garden had been waiting for her. As she walked deeper into the garden, she noticed something unusual. In the center of the garden was a large stone fountain, but instead of water, it held a pool of glowing moonlight. And sitting on the edge of the fountain was a silver key, gleaming under the moon's gaze. Myra approached the fountain, mesmerized by the key's brilliance. As she reached for it, a voice spoke from the shadows. "Why have you come here, child?" Myra gasped and turned to see an old woman standing by the garden's entrance. She was dressed in a cloak made of leaves and petals, her eyes as deep and wise as the forest itself. I was curious," Myra stammered. "I've heard stories about this place, but I never believed them. I didn't know it was real." The old woman smiled softly. "The moonlit garden is as real as the moon in the sky, but it is not meant for everyone. Few are brave enough to enter, and even fewer understand its magic." Myra looked around at the glowing flowers and the fountain of moonlight. "What kind of magic is this?" she asked. "The kind that only reveals itself to those with pure hearts," the woman replied. "Long ago, this garden was a place of beauty and life, cared for by a guardian who kept its magic safe. But when the guardian disappeared, the garden was sealed, waiting for someone worthy to take up the mantle." Myra's eyes widened. "A guardian?" The old woman nodded. "The key you see before you unlocks the heart of the garden. Only one who truly understands the balance between nature and magic can wield its power. If you take the key, you will become the new guardian, and the garden's magic will be yours to protect." Myra hesitated. The idea of becoming the guardian of such a magical place filled her with wonder, but it also scared her. "What if I'm not worthy? What if I can't protect it?" The old woman's gaze softened. "You already protect the world around you, Myra. Your gift brings life wherever you go. The garden has chosen you for a reason." Myra looked down at the key, its silver surface glowing with the soft light of the moon. She felt a strange pull toward it, as though the garden's magic was calling her. Taking a deep breath, she reached out and took the key in her hand. The moment her fingers touched the key, a wave of warmth spread through her. The garden around her shimmered, and the flowers bloomed even brighter. The fountain of moonlight began to flow, and the garden felt more alive than ever before. "You have made your choice," the old woman said, her voice filled with approval. "The garden is now yours to care for. Its magic will protect the village, as long as you keep its heart strong." Myra looked around in awe. She could feel the garden's power coursing through her, a connection to the earth and the moon, to the flowers and the wind. She understood now why the garden had been sealed for so long. It had been waiting for someone like her. "Thank you," Myra said, her voice trembling with gratitude. The old woman smiled. "Remember, the garden's magic is not just for you. It is for all who need it. Use it wisely, and it will never fade." With that, the old woman faded into the shadows, leaving Myra alone in the moonlit garden. But Myra no longer felt afraid. She knew what she had to do. From that night on, the moonlit garden became a place of healing and wonder. The villagers, once too fearful to approach, now came to the garden seeking its magic. Flowers bloomed in abundance, and the village flourished under Myra's care. And Mira, the new guardian of the moonlit garden, lived a life filled with adventure and purpose, knowing that the magic she protected would continue to bloom for generations to come. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom called Verdantia, there was a majestic tree known as the Whispering Willow. This ancient tree stood at the edge of the enchanted forest, its branches draped with delicate silver leaves that shimmered in the moonlight. The Whispering Willow was said to hold the wisdom of the ages and had the power to grant a single wish to those who were pure of heart and sought its magic for a noble cause. In the nearby village of Brightwater, there lived a kind-hearted young woman named Leora. Leora was known throughout the village for her generosity and her willingness to help anyone in need. She worked tirelessly in the village's small clinic, healing the sick and caring for the elderly. Despite her selfless nature, Leora harbored a deep sorrow. Her beloved younger brother, Finn, had fallen ill with a mysterious ailment that no one could cure. One evening, as Leora sat by Finn's bedside, she overheard an old tale about the Whispering Willow and its magical wish. Determined to save her brother, Leora decided to embark on a quest to find the tree and ask for its help. The next morning, with a small satchel of provisions and a heart full of hope, Leora ventured into the enchanted forest. The forest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blooming flowers. The path to the Whispering Willow was said to be challenging, but Leora's resolve was unshakable. As Leora walked deeper into the forest, she encountered a series of trials. First, she faced a dense fog that obscured her path. She could hardly see a few steps ahead, but she remained calm and used her intuition to find her way. Soon, a friendly firefly appeared, guiding her through the mist with its gentle light. Next, Leora reached a river with a rickety bridge that swayed dangerously. She needed to cross, but the bridge looked unstable. With determination, she carefully made her way across, using the firefly's light to guide her steps and focusing on her goal. Finally, Leora arrived at a grove where the Whispering Willow stood in its full glory. The tree's silver leaves rustled softly, and its branches seemed to reach out as if welcoming her. Leora approached the tree with reverence and spoke from her heart. "Great Whispering Willow, I have come seeking your help. My brother, Finn, is gravely ill, and no healer in the village has been able to cure him. I ask for your wisdom and magic to save him." The Whispering Willow's branches swayed gently, and a soft, melodious voice emanated from the tree. "You have shown great courage and selflessness on your journey. To grant your wish, you must first understand the true nature of healing and compassion." The tree's words puzzled Leora, but she listened intently. "What must I do?" she asked. The Whispering Willow continued, "Healing is not just about curing the body but also about nurturing the spirit. You must share the wisdom you have gained from your journey with those in need, and only then will the magic be revealed." Understanding the tree's message, Leora decided to return to her village. She spent the next few weeks teaching others what she had learned about patience, kindness, and the importance of community. She shared her experiences and encouraged her fellow villagers to support one another, especially in times of hardship. During this time, the village began to thrive with newfound harmony. The people grew closer, and they worked together to improve their lives. The collective spirit of compassion and unity created a positive change in the village. One day, as Leora tended to her brother, she noticed that Finn's condition was improving. The mysterious ailment that had once plagued him seemed to be fading. With each passing day, Finn grew stronger and more vibrant. Leora realized that the Whispering Willow's wisdom had indeed worked its magic, not just through a direct cure but by fostering a spirit of healing and support within the community. Grateful and filled with hope, Leora visited the Whispering Willow once more to thank it for its guidance. The tree's branches swayed gently, and a soft glow surrounded it, as if the tree itself was smiling in contentment. "You have learned the true essence of healing," the Whispering Willow said. "May the wisdom you have gained continue to bring light and compassion to the world." Leora returned to her village, where she and Finn were joyfully reunited. The village of Brightwater continued to flourish, and the bonds of community grew stronger. The tale of Leora's quest and the Whispering Willow became a cherished story, reminding everyone of the power of selflessness, wisdom, and the importance of nurturing the spirit as well as the body. And so, the Whispering Willow remained a symbol of hope and wisdom in the enchanted forest, its gentle whispers guiding those who sought its magic with pure hearts. Once upon a time, in a land where lush forests met sparkling rivers and rolling hills, there was a mystical place known as the Enchanted Forest. This forest was home to a wide variety of magical creatures, from gentle deer with shimmering antlers to talking owls with wise eyes. The heart of the forest was guarded by an ancient, towering tree known as the Grand Oak. This tree held a secret, a magical sapphire hidden within its trunk that kept the forest vibrant and full of life. One day, the Grand Oak began to grow dim, and the magic of the forest started to fade. The once bright flowers lost their color, the streams slowed to a trickle, and the animals grew anxious. The wise old owl, Eldrick, who had lived in the forest for centuries, knew that something had gone terribly wrong. He gathered all the creatures and spoke to them with a heavy heart. "The Grand Oak's magic is failing," Eldrick said. "To restore its power, we need the sapphire butterfly, the guardian of the magical sapphire. However, the sapphire butterfly has not been seen for many years. We must find her and bring her back to the Grand Oak." The animals of the forest were concerned but determined to save their home. They decided to send their bravest and kindest member to embark on this crucial quest. To everyone's surprise, the volunteer was a young, gentle rabbit named Luna. Though she was small, Luna had a heart full of courage and a spirit as bright as the stars. Eldrick provided Luna with a map and a special pendant that would help guide her to the sapphire butterfly. "This pendant will glow when you are near the sapphire butterfly," Eldrick explained. "Use it wisely, and trust in your own bravery." With the map and pendant in hand, Luna set off on her journey. The path ahead was not easy, and the enchanted forest was vast. As Luna ventured deeper into the forest, she came across a series of challenges. First, she reached a wide river that flowed swiftly and was too dangerous to cross. On the opposite bank, she spotted a beautiful bridge made of intertwined vines and flowers, but it was guarded by a grumpy troll who refused to let anyone pass. Luna approached the troll with a friendly smile. "Hello, Mr. Troll. I need to cross the river to find the sapphire butterfly and save the Grand Oak. Can you please let me use the bridge?" The troll scowled and grumbled. "I don't let just anyone cross my bridge. You must solve a riddle to prove your worth." Luna nodded, eager to try. The troll's riddle was tricky, but with her quick thinking and a bit of cleverness, Luna solved it. Impressed, the troll allowed her to cross the bridge and wished her luck on her journey. On the other side of the river, Luna found herself in a dense, shadowy grove where the trees were tangled and the path was barely visible. The pendant around her neck began to glow softly, guiding her through the dark forest. She followed its light until she came across a hidden grove filled with glowing mushrooms and twinkling fireflies. In the center of the grove, Luna saw a delicate butterfly with wings that sparkled like sapphires. The sapphire butterfly was as beautiful as the legends had described, and her presence seemed to make the entire grove shimmer with light. "Welcome, brave Luna," the sapphire butterfly said in a voice like a soft breeze. "I have been waiting for someone to come and restore the magic of the enchanted forest." Luna bowed respectfully. "I have come to bring you back to the Grand Oak. The forest is in trouble, and we need your magic to save it." The sapphire butterfly fluttered her wings and sighed. "I have been hiding for a long time, for I feared that the magic of the sapphire would be misused. But I see that your heart is pure and your intentions are noble. I will come with you." With the sapphire butterfly by her side, Luna made her way back to the Grand Oak. The journey was long, but with the butterfly's magic guiding them, the path seemed easier. The trees and flowers along the way began to regain their color, and the stream started to flow more freely. When they finally arrived at the Grand Oak, the tree was still dim, but the sapphire butterfly's presence brought a glimmer of hope. Luna and the butterfly approached the ancient tree, and the butterfly gently placed her delicate wings against the trunk. A brilliant light erupted from the sapphire hidden within the tree, spreading throughout the forest. The Grand Oak's magic was restored, and the enchanted forest bloomed with vibrant colors and life. The flowers danced in the breeze, the stream sparkled, and the animals rejoiced. The forest was once again a place of magic and wonder. The sapphire butterfly looked at Luna with gratitude. "You have done a great deed, dear Luna. Your bravery and kindness have saved the forest. The magic of the sapphire is now yours to protect." Luna felt a warm glow in her heart. "I couldn't have done it without the help of the forest and the guidance of the pendant. I promise to protect the magic and keep the forest safe." From that day on, Luna became the guardian of the enchanted forest, with the sapphire butterfly as her companion. The forest thrived under their care, and the tale of Luna's bravery and the magical butterfly was told throughout the land. And so, the enchanted forest remained a place of beauty and magic, thanks to the courage of a small rabbit and the sparkling wings of the sapphire butterfly. The forest creatures lived happily ever after, and the grand oak stood tall and proud, a symbol of the enduring magic of their home. And thus, the story of Luna and the sapphire butterfly became a cherished legend, a tale of bravery, magic, and the light that shines within every heart. In a realm where magic was as common as the wind, there was a hidden orchard known only to a few. This orchard, nestled deep within the misty woods, was renowned for its extraordinary fruits, each one glowing with its own unique light. The orchard was tended by a wise old guardian named Elowen, who watched over the magical trees and ensured that their secrets remained safe. The village nearest to the misty woods was called Havenbrook, a peaceful place where people lived in harmony with nature. Among its inhabitants was a young girl named Lila, known for her curiosity and her kind heart. Lila had heard tales of the enchanted orchard from her grandmother, who spoke of its fruits that could heal any ailment and grant the purest of wishes. One crisp autumn day, as Lila wandered through the forest near her home, she discovered a small, ornate key half buried under a bed of fallen leaves. The key was adorned with intricate designs and seemed to shimmer with a faint magical glow. Intrigued, Lila decided to find the lock it belonged to. Her search led her to the entrance of the misty woods, where a mysterious fog swirled around the trees. Remembering her grandmother's stories, Lila realized that the key might be connected to the enchanted orchard. Gathering her courage, she ventured into the woods. The misty woods were dense and tangled, and the fog made it difficult to see. But Lila's determination guided her through. After what felt like hours, she stumbled upon an ancient gate covered in ivy and moss. With trembling hands, she inserted the key into the lock and turned it. The gate creaked open, revealing the hidden enchanted orchard. The orchard was breathtaking. Trees with silver bark and golden leaves stood tall, their fruits glowing with vibrant colors. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and ripe fruits. Elowen, the guardian of the orchard, appeared from among the trees, her eyes filled with both surprise and warmth. "Welcome, young one," Elowen said. "What brings you to this sacred place?" Lila explained how she had found the key and her desire to learn about the orchard. Elowen listened intently and then said, "You have entered a place of great magic and responsibility. The orchard is in great need of your help. A prince has been lost for many years, and it is said that only the purest heart can find him. The fruits of the orchard may hold the key to his location." Lila agreed to help, and Elowen handed her a glowing fruit from a tree. "This is the fruit of clarity," she explained. "It will reveal hidden truths and guide you on your quest. Use it wisely." With the fruit of clarity in hand, Lila set out on her journey. The orchard's magic enveloped her, and she found herself in a lush meadow, bathed in moonlight. Here, she encountered a talking owl named Oswin, who had a deep knowledge of the land. Oswin informed Lila that the lost prince, Prince Eric, had been cursed and trapped in a hidden castle deep within the Shadowed Vale, a realm of perpetual twilight. To reach the castle, Lila needed to find 3 magical artifacts: the Crystal of Light, the Crown of Wisdom, and the Amulet of Courage. The first artifact, the Crystal of Light, was said to be hidden in the heart of the Whispering Glade, a place where the trees themselves were alive and spoke in riddles. Lila ventured into the glade, where the trees whispered secrets and challenges. She solved their riddles with her sharp mind and kind spirit, earning the trust of the trees. In gratitude, they revealed the location of the Crystal of Light, hidden within a shimmering pond. The second artifact, the Crown of Wisdom, was located in the Floating Isles, a series of magical islands suspended in the sky. To reach them, Lila had to navigate through a labyrinth of clouds and storms. With the guidance of her Fruit of Clarity and her bravery, she found a hidden staircase of clouds leading to the Floating Isles. There, she met an ancient sage who guarded the crown. The sage tested Lila's wisdom and kindness, and upon passing, he entrusted her with the Crown of Wisdom. The final artifact, the Amulet of Courage, was guarded by a fearsome dragon in the depths of the Ember Caves. The dragon, though fierce, was also wise and fair. Lila approached the dragon with respect and compassion, offering a part of her own courage as a gift. The dragon, moved by her sincerity, allowed her to take the Amulet of Courage. With all three artifacts in hand, Lila returned to the enchanted orchard. Eloan guided her to the entrance of the Shadowed Vale. The Vale was a realm of shadows and illusions, where darkness seemed to twist and turn. Lila used the artifacts, the Crystal of Light to dispel the shadows, the Crown of Wisdom to navigate through the illusions, and the Amulet of Courage to face her fears. Deep within the Vale, Lila found the hidden castle, its towers reaching towards the dim sky. Inside, she discovered Prince Eric, trapped in a spell of eternal twilight. Using the artifacts, Lila broke the curse, and the castle was bathed in a warm, golden light. Prince Eric awoke, grateful and amazed. He thanked Lila for her bravery and kindness. As a reward, he offered her a place in his kingdom, where she could share her wisdom and experiences. Lila declined, choosing instead to return to her village and share the magic she had discovered. With Prince Eric's guidance, Lila and Eloan returned to Havenbrook. The village celebrated her as a hero, and the enchanted fruits of the orchard brought new hope and prosperity. In a quaint village nestled between misty mountains and lush forests, there lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known throughout the village for her beautiful singing voice. Every evening, she would sing by the riverbank, and her melodies would drift through the air, bringing peace and joy to all who heard them. One night, as Lila sang her favorite lullaby under the light of the full moon, a soft, shimmering light appeared on the water's surface. Out of the glow emerged a graceful swan, its feathers glistening like silver. The swan looked at Lila with wise, gentle eyes and spoke in a melodious voice. "Lila, your songs have brought great happiness to your village. I am Celine, guardian of the moonlit melody. You have a pure heart and a gift that must be protected. I need your help." Lila was surprised but listened intently as Celine continued. "Deep within the enchanted forest lies a hidden glen where the moonlit melody is kept. This melody holds the power to keep the balance between night and day. Recently, a mischievous spirit has stolen a part of it, causing the night to grow unnaturally long. If we do not retrieve it soon, the world will fall into eternal darkness." Determined to help, Lila agreed to embark on a quest to retrieve the stolen part of the melody. Celine transformed into a glowing star and guided Lila to the edge of the enchanted forest. The forest was magical but also filled with challenges. Lila soon encountered a talking squirrel named Nutmeg, who was perched on a large mushroom. To find the hidden glen, Nutmeg said, "You must solve 3 puzzles set by the forest's guardians. Only then will you find the spirit and the stolen melody." Lila thanked Nutmeg and set off on her journey. The first guardian was a wise old owl perched high in the trees. The owl looked down at Lila with curious eyes and asked, "I fly without wings, I cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness flies. What am I?" Lila thought about the owl's riddle. The answer came to her as she remembered the dark nights and the sounds of rain. "A cloud," she answered. The owl nodded, and the path ahead cleared, leading Lila deeper into the forest. The second guardian was a mischievous fox with a bushy tail, sitting by a sparkling stream. The fox challenged Lila with a puzzle. "I am not alive, but I grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lila pondered the riddle as she watched the flowing water. Fire, she said. The fox grinned and allowed her to pass, pointing her towards the final guardian. The last guardian was a gentle deer standing in a sunlit glade, surrounded by flowers. The deer's question was, "I have branches but no leaves, no trunk, and no fruit. What am I?" Lila thought for a moment, then replied, "A bank." The deer smiled and revealed the hidden path leading to the heart of the forest. Following the path, Lila arrived at a moonlit glen where a small, glowing orb hovered above the ground. The orb was surrounded by a soft, melodious hum. Suddenly, a playful spirit with a mischievous grin appeared, holding a fragment of the moonlit melody. "Ah, you found me," the spirit said with a twinkle in its eye. "Why should I return this melody? I've had so much fun making the nights longer." Lila approached the spirit and spoke gently, "The moonlit melody is important for maintaining balance. Without it, everything would be out of harmony. Your fun might lead to trouble for everyone." The spirit's playful expression softened as it listened to Lila's heartfelt words. "I never meant to cause harm," it said, handing over the fragment of the melody. "I just wanted to play." Lila thanked the spirit and, with the melody fragment in hand, returned to Celine. The swan, glowing with relief, guided Lila back to the riverbank. As Lila sang the moonlit melody with the recovered fragment, the melody resonated with the night sky, restoring balance. The moonlight grew brighter and the nights returned to their natural length. The village celebrated Lila's bravery and kindness, and the story of her quest became a cherished legend. Celine, grateful for Lila's help, bestowed a magical gift upon her, a silver locket that would always allow her to sing with the power of the moonlit melody. Lila continued to sing, her songs now carrying the magic of the moonlight, bringing peace and joy to all who heard them. And so, under the soft glow of the moon and the harmony of Lila's voice, the village thrived in a world where night and day danced in perfect balance, thanks to the bravery of a young girl and the magic of the moonlit melody. In the gentle glow of the moonlit nights, the villagers learned that harmony is maintained not just through magic, but through the courage and kindness of those who care for the world around them. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where lush meadows met towering mountains, there lived a wise and gentle dragon named Eldrick. Eldrick was the last of his kind, a magnificent creature with shimmering emerald scales and eyes that sparkled like stars. He resided in a hidden cave deep within the mystic mountains, guarding a secret that had been passed down through generations of dragons. This secret was the Golden Flame, a mystical fire that could bring life to barren lands and heal the sick. For years, Eldrick had used the flame sparingly, only in times of great need, for it was said to be the source of all dragon magic. In a nearby village, nestled at the base of the mountains, lived a kind-hearted young woman named Elowen. The village had been suffering from a terrible drought that had withered their crops and left them in despair. Elowen, though only a humble farmer, had a heart full of hope and a belief that the dragon's magic could save her people. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a deep shade of indigo, Elowen set out on a quest to find Eldrick and seek his help. Armed with a small satchel of provisions in her unwavering determination, she ventured into the mystic mountains, guided by the faint glow of moonlight. The journey was treacherous, with steep cliffs and dense forests, but Elowen pressed on. As she climbed higher, she noticed a soft, golden light emanating from a hidden crevice in the mountain. With cautious excitement, she followed the light and discovered Eldrick's cave. Eldrick, with his majestic wings folded and his long tail coiled comfortably, was resting near a pool of water that reflected the golden flame. Elowen took a deep breath and stepped into the cave. Eldrick looked up with his wise, gentle eyes and regarded her with curiosity. "Greetings, noble dragon," Elowen said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "I am Elowen from the village below. Our land is suffering from a terrible drought, and I've come to seek the golden flame to save my people." Eldrick's eyes softened with compassion. "Brave Elowen, why do you believe that the golden flame can help you?" Elowen replied, "I have heard tales of its power and how it can bring life and healing. I believe it is our only hope." Eldrick studied Elowen closely, sensing the sincerity in her voice and the purity of her heart. After a moment of reflection, he spoke. The golden flame is indeed powerful, but it must be used wisely. If you truly wish to use its magic, you must first prove your worthiness by showing your selflessness and courage. Eldrick then presented Eloan with a task. Deep within the forest lies a withered tree, a remnant of the once great forest that was destroyed by the drought. You must restore it to its former glory, not with the golden flame, but with the strength of your spirit and compassion. Only then will you be worthy of the flame. Determined to prove her worth, Eloan set out to find the withered tree. It was a gnarled and barren trunk, standing alone in a desolate clearing. Eloan knew that the task would be challenging, but she had hope in her heart. She worked tirelessly, tending to the soil, watering the tree with the small amount of water she had, and singing softly to it. Each day, she returned to the tree, her actions fueled by a deep sense of love for her village and a belief in the magic of renewal. As days passed, the tree began to respond. Small buds appeared on its branches, and soon, vibrant green leaves unfurled. The once withered tree began to blossom with beautiful flowers and fruits, a symbol of the healing and transformation that was taking place. When Eldrick saw the transformed tree, he was deeply moved. Eloan, you have shown great selflessness and determination. You have restored the tree with the strength of your heart and the care of your spirit. You are truly worthy of the golden flame. With a wave of his majestic tail, Eldrick summoned the golden flame. The mystical fire rose from the pool, shimmering with golden hues, and enveloped Eloan in a warm, radiant glow. He handed her a small vial containing the flame. "Take this to your village," Eldrick said, "and let its magic heal your land." Eloan thanked Eldrick and carefully carried the vial down the mountain. When she arrived at the village, she released the golden flame over the dry fields. The flame spread across the land, turning the barren soil into lush, fertile ground. The rivers flowed once more, and the crops grew abundantly. The village celebrated their newfound prosperity with joy and gratitude. Eloan was hailed as a hero, but she knew that it was not just the magic of the golden flame but the strength of the villagers' spirit and unity that had made the difference. And so, the village thrived, and the legend of Eloan and the Last Dragon became a cherished tale, a reminder that true magic lies in the courage to care for others and the power of hope. Eldrick continued to watch over the mystic mountains, knowing that his magic had found a worthy guardian. The land was healed, and the village lived in harmony and abundance, forever touched by the legacy of the golden flame. The tale of the Midnight Swan. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by misty meadows and quiet lakes, there was a legend about a mysterious swan that only appeared at midnight. The villagers called it the Midnight Swan, and it was said that anyone who caught a glimpse of it would have a single wish granted. But the swan was elusive, and many who sought it never returned, for the forest where it dwelled was enchanted and full of secrets. In this village lived a young girl named Elara. She was known for her courage and her kind heart, always helping others and caring for the animals in the village. But Elara had a secret wish that she had never shared with anyone. Her mother had fallen ill years ago, and despite all the remedies and care, she had never recovered. Elara wished for her mother to be well again, to see her smile and hear her laughter as she once did. One evening, as Elara was tending to her chores, she overheard the village elders speaking of the Midnight Swan. They spoke of its magical powers, how it could heal the sick and grant the deepest desires of those who found it. Elara's heart leaped at the thought. If she could find the Midnight Swan, she could wish for her mother's health to be restored. That night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Elara set out on her journey. She packed a small bag with some food and a blanket, and with her lantern in hand, she ventured into the forest. The trees stood tall and silent, their branches whispering in the wind. Elara's steps were light, but her heart was heavy with hope and determination. The forest was dark and full of shadows, but Elara pressed on, guided by the faint glow of the moon. As she walked, she heard the sound of rustling leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. The air grew cooler, and the mist began to thicken around her. Elara knew she was getting closer to the enchanted part of the forest where the Midnight Swan was said to dwell. After what felt like hours, Elara came upon a small clearing bathed in silver moonlight. In the center of the clearing was a still, glassy lake that reflected the stars above. The surface of the water was so smooth that it looked like a mirror. Elara held her breath, her eyes scanning the lake for any sign of the swan. Just as the clock struck midnight, the surface of the lake began to ripple. Slowly, gracefully, the midnight swan emerged from the water. Its feathers were as white as snow, glowing softly in the moonlight. Its eyes were dark and wise, and as it glided across the water, it seemed to carry an air of ancient magic. Elara stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. The swan turned its gaze toward her, and for a moment, they simply looked at each other. Elara could feel the magic in the air, a tingling sensation that made her feel both excited and a little afraid. "Midnight Swan," Elara called out softly, her voice trembling slightly, "I have come to ask for a wish. My mother is very ill, and I wish for her to be well again." The swan tilted its head as if considering her request. Then, it glided closer to the shore, its wings creating ripples on the surface of the lake. Elara could see the reflection of the moon in the swan's dark eyes, and she felt as though the swan was looking deep into her soul. Finally, the swan spoke, its voice like a soft breeze that carried through the night. "Your wish comes from a place of love and selflessness, young one. But know that all magic comes with a price. To heal your mother, you must give up something dear to you." Elara thought for a moment. She had very little of material value, but she was willing to give up anything if it meant her mother could be healthy again. "What must I give?" she asked. The swan's eyes softened. "You must give up your voice, Elara. In exchange for your mother's health, you will no longer be able to speak." Elara's heart sank at the thought. She loved to sing, to tell stories, and to speak with her friends and the animals she cared for. But then she thought of her mother, of how much she missed seeing her well and happy. With a deep breath, Elara nodded. "I will do it. I will give up my voice to save my mother." The swan lowered its head in acknowledgement. "Very well, Elara. Your wish shall be granted." The swan's wings began to glow with a soft, radiant light that filled the entire clearing. The light grew brighter and brighter until Elara had to close her eyes. She felt a warmth wash over her, and then a strange sensation in her throat, as if the words she wanted to speak were being gently taken away. When the light faded, Elara opened her eyes. The swan was gone, and the lake was still and quiet once more. She tried to speak, to call out, but no sound came. Her voice was gone. Elara felt a mixture of sadness and relief. She had given up something precious, but in doing so, she had gained something even more valuable. With a heavy heart, she turned and began the journey back to her village. When Elara arrived home, she found her mother already awake and sitting up in bed, looking healthier than she had in years. Her cheeks were rosy, and her eyes sparkled with life. Tears filled Elara's eyes as she rushed to her mother's side, embracing her tightly. Her mother smiled and hugged her back, whispering words of love and gratitude. Though Elara could no longer speak, the joy in her heart was enough. Her mother was well, and that was all that mattered. The village soon learned of Elara's sacrifice, and they marveled at her bravery and selflessness. She became known as the silent hero, and though she could no longer tell her stories, her actions spoke louder than any words ever could. And so, Elara lived happily with her mother, finding new ways to communicate through gestures and smiles. The village continued to thrive, and the legend of the Midnight Swan lived on, a reminder that true love and sacrifice could work wonders far greater than any magic. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the reach of ordinary maps, there was a hidden kingdom known as Starlight. This kingdom was unique because it floated among the stars in the night sky. Its streets were made of stardust, its castles of moonlight, and its gardens were filled with glowing flowers that bloomed only under the celestial canopy. The ruler of Starlight was a wise and gentle queen named Seraphina. She had a magical scepter that could command the stars and control the light of the moon. Under her reign, the kingdom thrived in peace and harmony, and its inhabitants, the starfolk, were happy and content. But one day, a dark shadow fell over Starlight. The light of the moon began to wane, and the once brilliant stars started to dim. The magic of the kingdom was fading, and the once vibrant gardens began to wither. Queen Seraphina, deeply worried, called upon her most trusted advisor, a wise old owl named Orion. Orion, with his feathers that sparkled like tiny constellations, advised the queen of an ancient prophecy: when the light of the kingdom fades, a brave soul must embark on a quest to restore it. They must find the lost star crystal, hidden in the depths of the celestial caverns. Only the pure-hearted can succeed in this quest. Queen Seraphina, although troubled, knew that the fate of her kingdom depended on this quest. She decided to seek out a hero who could undertake this journey. After careful consideration, she chose a young starfolk named Lyra. Lyra was known for her kindness, bravery, and unwavering spirit. She had always been curious about the world beyond the kingdom and had often dreamed of adventures among the stars. Lyra was honored and a bit nervous as she accepted the queen's request. She prepared for her journey by packing a small bag with essential supplies, a star map, a lantern made of moonlight, and a locket given to her by her mother that was said to protect its bearer from harm. As the night sky glittered with stars, Lyra set out on her journey. She followed the map Orion had given her, which led her to a shimmering portal hidden within the largest star in the sky. With a deep breath and a hopeful heart, Lyra stepped through the portal and into the celestial caverns. The celestial caverns were a vast network of glowing crystals and shimmering streams of stardust. The air was filled with a gentle hum, and the walls sparkled like 1,000 diamonds. As Lyra ventured deeper, she encountered the first challenge of her quest, a labyrinth of twisting tunnels and glowing illusions. To navigate the labyrinth, Lyra relied on her star map and the guidance of her lantern, which illuminated the correct path. She used her wits and intuition to avoid the illusions and find her way through the maze. With perseverance and patience, she reached the heart of the labyrinth, where the second challenge awaited. In the center of the cavern stood a massive stone door adorned with intricate carvings of stars and moons. The door was locked, and a riddle was inscribed upon it: "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lyra pondered the riddle and thought about the nature of the celestial caverns. After a moment, she realized the answer: fire. She spoke the word aloud, and the stone door slowly creaked open, revealing the final challenge. Inside, Lyra found the star crystal resting upon a pedestal of stardust. However, the crystal was surrounded by a swirling vortex of dark energy. To retrieve the crystal, Lyra needed to dispel the darkness. With determination, Lyra took out the locket her mother had given her and held it up towards the vortex. The locket began to glow with a warm, soothing light that pushed back the darkness. As the dark energy dissipated, the star crystal became accessible. Lyra carefully took the star crystal and felt its warm, pulsating energy. She knew that the journey back to Starlight would be just as challenging. As she made her way through the caverns, she noticed the crystals and streams of stardust shining more brightly, as if acknowledging her success. When Lyra returned to Starlight, the kingdom was still shrouded in dim light. She approached Queen Seraphina and presented the star crystal. The queen held the crystal up to the sky, and its light began to radiate across the kingdom. The darkness lifted, and the stars sparkled once more. The gardens bloomed with vibrant colors, and the magic of starlight was restored. The starfolk rejoiced, celebrating Lyra's bravery and the return of their kingdom's light. Queen Seraphina thanked Lyra for her courage and dedication, and the people of Starlight hailed her as a hero. Lyra's adventure became a legend among the stars, a tale of courage, perseverance, and the power of a pure heart. And so, the kingdom of Starlight continued to shine brightly in the night sky, a beacon of hope and magic for all who looked up and believed in the wonders of the universe. The end. In the heart of the kingdom of Verdantia, where emerald forests met sparkling lakes, and mountains touched the sky, there lay a grand castle. The castle was home to King Cedric and Queen Alara, who were known far and wide for their kindness and wisdom. Their greatest treasure was the enchanted crown, a magical artifact said to grant prosperity and peace to the land. the crown was kept in a secure vault deep within the castle, guarded by powerful spells and enchanted creatures. It was a symbol of hope and unity for the kingdom. One fateful night, a dark sorcerer named Malachar, driven by greed and jealousy, managed to breach the castle's defenses and steal the crown. The kingdom was plunged into darkness, and the once vibrant lands began to wither. Desperate to restore peace, King Cedric and Queen Alara sent word throughout the kingdom, seeking a hero who could retrieve the crown. Among the brave souls who answered the call was a young woman named Lyra. She was known for her courage, cleverness, and a special bond with animals. Lyra was just a simple farmer's daughter, but she had always dreamt of adventure. When she learned about the stolen enchanted crown, she knew this was her chance to make a difference. She packed her belongings and set out on her journey, guided by the hope of restoring her homeland. Her first destination was the Whispering Woods, a mysterious forest known for its magical creatures and hidden secrets. As she ventured deeper into the woods, she met a wise old fox named Fenwick. "Welcome, Lyra," Fenwick greeted with a knowing smile. "I have heard of your quest. The path to Malachar's lair is treacherous. I will guide you, but first, you must help me." Fenwick explained that a magical gem had been stolen from him, which was vital for his powers. He believed it was taken by a mischievous sprite named Puck, who lived in the heart of the forest. Lyra agreed to help Fenwick in exchange for his guidance. After a short search, Lyra and Fenwick found Puck playing tricks on a group of forest animals. With a clever plan and some negotiation, Lyra convinced Puck to return the gem. In gratitude, Fenwick offered Lyra a magical compass that would always point towards the enchanted crown. With the compass in hand, Lyra continued her journey. Her next challenge was to cross the Cursed River, a turbulent waterway said to be guarded by a fearsome sea serpent. As she approached the river, the water began to churn, and the serpent emerged from the depths. The serpent, named Seraphis, was indeed formidable but had a hidden sorrow. Lyra spoke to Seraphis with compassion and learned that the serpent was cursed to guard the river for eternity. The curse could only be broken by a single act of kindness. Lyra offered Seraphis a magical amulet she had found along the way, which she knew could lift curses. In return for this gift, Seraphis allowed her to cross the river safely and promised to aid her in her quest if needed. On the other side of the river, Lyra reached the foot of the Dark Mountains. The mountains were known for their harsh conditions and fierce creatures. As she climbed, she found an old, forgotten path leading to a hidden cave. Inside the cave, she discovered ancient runes that revealed the location of Malachar's lair. Following the directions from the runes, Lyra made her way to Malachar's lair, a dark and foreboding fortress atop a desolate hill. The fortress was surrounded by a powerful barrier of dark magic. With Fenwick's guidance and the compass's help, Lyra managed to find a hidden entrance. Inside the fortress, Lyra confronted Malachar. The sorcerer was a tall, menacing figure cloaked in shadows. The enchanted crown was displayed on a pedestal, its magic waning under Malachar's influence. "Why do you seek the crown?" Lyra demanded. "It does not belong to you." Malachar sneered, "With the crown, I will have the power to rule all realms, and none will stand against me." Lyra knew she had to act quickly. Using the magical amulet she had, she managed to weaken the sorcerer's dark magic. With Fenwick's help in a fierce battle, Lyra managed to defeat Malachar and reclaim the crown. As Lyra held the enchanted crown, its magic began to radiate once more, filling the fortress with a warm, golden light. The kingdom of Verdantia was restored to its former glory, and the land flourished with new life and prosperity. Upon her return, Lyra was hailed as a hero. King Cedric and Queen Alara thanked her for her bravery and presented her with a special medal of honor. The people of Verdantia celebrated, and the enchanted crown was returned to its rightful place in the castle, where it continued to bring peace and harmony to the kingdom. Lyra's courage and kindness were remembered for generations, and her tale became a cherished legend in Verdantia. The kingdom thrived, and the Whispering Woods, the Cursed River, and the Dark Mountains all became symbols of hope and adventure. And so, the tale of Lyra and the enchanted crown lived on, inspiring others to believe in the power of bravery, compassion, and the magic that lies within each of us. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far beyond the tallest mountains, there lived a young girl named Alara. She lived in the peaceful village of Starvale, known for the bright stars that glittered above its skies every night. The stars were said to bring good fortune and protect the people of the kingdom from darkness. Alara had always been fascinated by the stars. Every evening, she would climb to the highest hill near her home and watch them twinkle, wondering what secrets they held. Her grandmother often told her tales about a long-forgotten star, one that had fallen from the sky ages ago, carrying with it a great magic. It was said that whoever found the star could wish for anything they desired. But as time passed, people began to forget about the fallen star, and soon, it was just a story whispered to children at bedtime. However, Alara never stopped believing. She felt deep in her heart that the star was real, and one day, she would find it. One fateful night, as Alara sat on her hill, something extraordinary happened. The stars above her seemed to dim for just a moment, and then, a single, brilliant star shot across the sky. It was so bright that it lit up the entire kingdom for a brief second. Alara gasped, her heart racing, for she knew what it was, the fallen star. The next morning, Alara packed her small satchel and set out on a journey to find the forgotten star. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but her curiosity and determination were stronger than any fear. Armed only with the stories her grandmother had told her, she ventured into the deep, ancient forest that lay beyond her village, the place where the star was said to have fallen. As she wandered deeper into the woods, the trees became taller, their branches weaving together to form a canopy that blocked out the sunlight. Strange sounds filled the air, whispers, rustling leaves, and distant calls of creatures she had never heard before. Yet, Alara pressed on, her heart guided by the invisible pull of the fallen star. Hours passed, and just as Alara began to doubt her journey, she stumbled upon a small, hidden glade. In the center of the glade was a shimmering pool of water, and above it, suspended in mid-air, was a glowing orb of light. It was faint but unmistakably the star. Alara's breath caught in her throat. She had found it, the forgotten star. But as she approached, a voice echoed through the clearing. "Who dares disturb the resting place of the fallen star?" Startled, Alara looked around and saw a figure emerge from the shadows of the trees. It was an old woman, her eyes sharp and her robe flowing like mist. Alara knew instantly this was no ordinary woman, she was the Star Keeper, guardian of the ancient magic. "I'm sorry," Alara said, bowing her head respectfully. "I didn't mean to disturb anything. I've come to find the fallen star. I've heard the stories and I believe in its magic." The Star Keeper studied Alara for a moment before speaking again. "Many have sought this star, child, but few understand its true power. It is not a gift to be taken lightly. What is it that you seek?" Alara hesitated. She had thought of this moment so many times, imagining what she might wish for, riches, adventure, perhaps even power. But now, standing before the star, she realized something. "I don't want to wish for anything selfish," she said softly. "I only want to protect the people of my kingdom, like the stars have always done. I want to keep the light alive." The Star Keeper's expression softened. "You are wise, young one. The fallen star's magic is not meant for personal gain but for those who understand the importance of light. The kingdom has forgotten the old ways, but you still believe." With a wave of her hand, the Star Keeper guided the glowing orb down toward Alara. "Take the star," she said. "But remember, its power lies not in granting wishes, but in the light it holds. You must return it to the sky, for only there can it truly protect your kingdom." Alara nodded, accepting the star into her hands. It was warm, pulsing with energy like a heartbeat. She felt a surge of responsibility wash over her. Without hesitation, she asked, "How do I return it to the sky?" The Star Keeper smiled. "Climb to the highest peak of the Sapphire Mountains. There, you will find the Gateway of Stars. Place the star within, and it will return to its rightful place. The journey to the Sapphire Mountains was long and treacherous. Elara faced many challenges along the way: steep cliffs, fierce winds, and strange creatures of the forest that tried to lead her astray. But with the stars' light guiding her, she pressed forward, never losing hope. At last, after days of travel, Elara reached the peak of the highest mountain. There, nestled between two towering stones, was the Gateway of Stars. It was ancient, carved with runes that glowed faintly in the moonlight. Elara approached the gateway, the star in her hands glowing brighter with each step. With a deep breath, she placed the star within the center of the gateway. For a moment, nothing happened. But then, the runes lit up, and a beam of light shot into the sky, carrying the star back to its rightful home among the heavens. As the star rejoined its siblings in the night sky, a wave of light spread across the land, filling the kingdom with a warm, protective glow. The darkness that had been creeping at the edges of the kingdom vanished, and the stars shone brighter than ever before. Elara stood on the mountain peak, watching the stars with a heart full of wonder and pride. She had returned the forgotten star and restored the magic that had protected her people for generations. When Elara returned to her village, she was greeted with joy and celebration. The people of Starvale had noticed the change in the sky and knew that something extraordinary had happened. From that day on, they never forgot the power of the stars and the magic that watched over them. And as for Elara, she continued to climb her hill every evening, watching the stars with a smile, knowing that the kingdom would always be safe as long as the stars were shining bright. And so, the kingdom of the Forgotten Star flourished, filled with light, hope, and the promise of protection from the stars above. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the realm of ordinary maps, there existed an enchanted forest known as Eloria. This forest was not like any other, it was alive with magic. The trees shimmered with silver leaves, and the flowers glowed softly at night. The animals spoke in melodious tones, and fairies danced on moonbeams. The heart of Eloria held a secret that was known only to a few, the Moonlit Princess. Princess Selene was her name, and she was as gentle as the moonlight that graced her kingdom. Her palace was nestled at the edge of the enchanted forest, and she had a special gift: she could speak to the creatures of the forest and command the stars in the sky. But despite her magical gifts, Selene was lonely. Her parents, the king and queen, had passed away when she was very young, leaving her to rule the kingdom with wisdom and kindness, yet always longing for a companion who understood her magical world. One evening, as the moon began to rise and paint the sky in shades of silver and blue, Princess Selene decided to wander into Eloria. She had heard whispers of a hidden glade where the magic was said to be strongest. With her heart full of hope, she ventured into the forest, guided by the gentle glow of fireflies. As she walked, the moonlight played tricks on the shadows, making the forest appear like a dreamscape. Selene followed a path lined with glowing mushrooms until she arrived at the glade. It was more beautiful than she had imagined. A crystal-clear pool sat in the center, surrounded by flowers that twinkled like stars. Suddenly, the water in the pool began to ripple, and out emerged a graceful, glowing figure, a fairy with delicate wings that sparkled like diamonds. Her name was Leora, the guardian of the moonlit magic. "Welcome, Princess Selene," Leora said with a voice like the tinkling of bells. "I have been expecting you." Selene's eyes widened with surprise and curiosity. "Expecting me? How?" Leora smiled warmly. "The moon has guided you here, for it has a message for you. There is a challenge you must face, one that will determine the fate of the enchanted forest." Selene's heart quickened. "What must I do?" Leora waved her wand, and a map appeared in the air, glowing softly. "You must find the Heartstone, a magical gem hidden deep within the forest. It holds the power to restore balance and ensure that Eloria remains enchanted. But beware, for the path is fraught with trials." Selene nodded, determination in her eyes. "I will find it. Thank you, Leora." With that, Leora vanished, and the map floated gently into Selene's hands. She followed the directions, which led her through a maze of shimmering vines and over sparkling streams. Along the way, she encountered various creatures of Eloria, a wise old owl, a mischievous squirrel, and a group of singing birds. Each one offered her a piece of advice or a clue, guiding her closer to the Heartstone. Finally, after what felt like hours of wandering and overcoming small trials, Celine arrived at a magnificent ancient oak tree. The tree was enormous, its bark glowing faintly with magical runes. At its base was a small, hidden alcove where the Heartstone lay nestled among the roots. As Celine reached for the gem, the ground shook slightly, and a dark shadow emerged. It was a giant, fearsome serpent, guarding the Heartstone. The serpent's eyes gleamed with a cold, calculating light. "I am the guardian of the Heartstone," the serpent hissed. "To take it, you must prove your worth." Celine took a deep breath and remembered the kindness and wisdom she had been shown throughout her journey. "I don't seek the Heartstone for myself," she said. "I seek it to ensure the magic of Eloria remains safe and that its creatures can live in harmony." The serpent's gaze softened, and the shadows around it seemed to lift. "You have spoken with a true heart," the serpent said. "You may take the Heartstone, and with it, the blessing of the forest." With a gentle touch, Celine took the Heartstone, which pulsed warmly in her hand. The serpent bowed its head and vanished into the forest. As Celine returned to the glade, Leora reappeared. "You have succeeded," Leora said. "The Heartstone is now yours to protect, and with it, Eloria will remain a place of wonder and magic." Celine thanked Leora and returned to her palace, the Heartstone glowing softly beside her. The enchanted forest flourished even more brightly under her care, and the animals and fairies celebrated with joyous songs. In time, Princess Celine was no longer lonely. She had found not just a magical artifact but a deeper connection to the world she loved. The Moonlit Princess became a legend in her own right, known for her bravery, wisdom, and the way she cherished and protected the magic of Eloria. And so, Eloria remained a land of enchantment, its beauty preserved by the Moonlit Princess who understood that true magic lay not just in gems or spells, but in the heart that seeks to protect and nurture all that is wondrous and kind. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land where rolling hills kissed the sky and meadows danced with wildflowers, there was a quaint village named Lumina. Lumina was known far and wide for its enchanting beauty and its magical pond, the Starlit Pond. The pond was said to be blessed by the moon and shone with a soft, silvery light that could heal hearts and grant wishes. The guardian of this mystical pond was a gentle and wise woman known as the Moonlight Queen. Her name was Elara, and she lived in a charming cottage by the pond, surrounded by lush gardens and sparkling lights. Elara's role was to protect the magic of the pond and help those in need with her moonlit powers. In the village lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra was kind-hearted and adventurous, with a deep love for nature. She often visited the Starlit Pond to enjoy its tranquility and to make secret wishes. One night, while gazing at the shimmering waters, she overheard a conversation between two forest creatures. They spoke of a hidden danger threatening the magic of the pond and the balance of the land. Intrigued and concerned, Lyra decided to find out more. She visited Elara, who greeted her with a warm smile. Elara explained that a dark sorcerer named Malakar sought to steal the magic of the Starlit Pond to gain eternal power. To protect the pond, Elara had placed a powerful enchantment around it, but the spell was weakening. Lyra felt a strong sense of duty to help. Elara gave her a silver pendant with a moonstone, a gift to aid her in the quest. The pendant would glow when she was near something magical and could guide her through the trials ahead. With the pendant in hand, Lyra set off on her journey. Her path led her through dense forests and over rolling hills, guided by the moonlight and the pendant's gentle glow. As she ventured deeper into the woods, she encountered various magical creatures who offered her assistance. The first creature she met was a wise old owl named Orion. Orion perched on a high branch and warned her of the trials that lay ahead. To find Malakar and save the pond, you must face 3 challenges, Orion said. The trials will test your courage, kindness, and wisdom. With newfound determination, Lyra continued her journey. Her first challenge was to cross a treacherous chasm. A rickety bridge spanned the gap, swaying dangerously in the breeze. Lyra took a deep breath and carefully crossed the bridge, her courage guiding her every step. On the other side, she found a small, wounded fox trapped in a hunter's net. The second trial was one of kindness. Lyra gently freed the fox and tended to its wounds. In gratitude, the fox gave her a shimmering feather that would protect her from harm. The final trial took place in a dark cave where the walls were covered in glowing runes. Here, Lyra had to solve a puzzle to unlock the path to Malakar's lair. The puzzle was a series of symbols that needed to be aligned in a specific order. With her wisdom and the help of the Moonstone Pendant, she solved the puzzle and revealed a hidden passage. As Lyra emerged from the cave, she saw a grand, shadowy fortress in the distance. This was Malakar's stronghold. She approached the fortress cautiously, her pendant glowing brightly. Inside, she found Malakar in the midst of a dark ritual, attempting to harness the pond's magic. Lyra confronted Malakar, her heart pounding with fear but also with resolve. She spoke of the importance of the pond and the harm that his actions would cause. Malakar, taken aback by her bravery and the purity of her words, was momentarily distracted. In that moment, Lyra used the feather and the Moonstone Pendant to cast a protective shield around herself and disrupt Malakar's ritual. The fortress trembled as the magic was disrupted. Malakar, realizing his plans were failing, fled in defeat. The dark sorcery that had begun to envelop the pond's magic dissipated, and the moonlight returned to its gentle glow. Lyra returned to the starlit pond, where Alara awaited her. The Moonlight Queen congratulated Lyra on her successful quest and praised her for her courage, kindness, and wisdom. With the danger averted, the enchantment around the pond was restored, and its magic was stronger than ever. The village of Lumina celebrated Lyra's bravery with a grand festival under the stars. The pond sparkled more beautifully than ever, a testament to the power of pure-heartedness and the strength of the bonds forged through courage and kindness. As the moonlight bathed the land in its soft glow, Lyra's adventure became a cherished story in Lumina. The tale of the brave girl who saved the starlit pond and defeated the dark sorcerer was passed down through generations. The Moonlight Queen continued to watch over the pond, and Lyra's legacy lived on as a symbol of hope and heroism. And so, the kingdom thrived, bathed in the gentle light of the starlit pond, where dreams and reality intertwined, guided by the bravery of one young girl and the magic of the moon. The end. In a quiet corner of the world, where meadows met forests and rivers sparkled under the sun, there was a small, charming village named Solara. The villagers of Solara lived in harmony with nature, but they cherished most the clear, starry nights when the sky came alive with twinkling stars. Among these villagers was a young boy named Leo, who had a special bond with the stars. Ever since he could remember, he would lie on the grass at night, gazing up at the sky, feeling as though he could reach out and touch the stars. His favorite star was a particularly bright one that always seemed to shine with an almost magical brilliance. One evening, as the full moon cast its silver light over the village, Leo noticed something unusual. The bright star he so loved was dimming, its light flickering weakly. Concerned, he ran to the village elder, a wise woman named Mira, and told her about the star. Mira listened carefully and said, "That star is known as Lumina, the Star of Wishes. It is said that Lumina and the moon share a special bond. And if Lumina's light fades, it could mean that the moon's magic is in trouble. You must seek the moon and find out what has happened." With a heart full of determination, Leo set out on a quest to find the moon and restore Lumina's light. He followed the silver moonlight through the forest, guided by the soft glow of the moon and the faint twinkle of Lumina in the sky. After a long journey, Leo arrived at a mystical clearing where the moon's light was strongest. In the center of the clearing was a shimmering, crescent-shaped pool of moonlight. As Leo approached, he saw that the moon was not in the sky but rather reflected in the pool, looking sad and dim. Leo stepped closer and spoke gently, "Oh, moon, why are you so sad? Your light has faded, and it's affecting Lumina, my favorite star." The moon, with a voice as gentle as a whispering breeze, replied, "My light has grown weak because the celestial gem, which powers my magic, has been stolen. Without it, I cannot shine as brightly, and my bond with Lumina is weakened." Leo listened with compassion and asked, "Where can I find this celestial gem?" The moon's reflection pointed to the dark depths of the forest. The gem was taken by a mischievous sprite named Zephyr, who lives in the heart of the forest. "You must find Zephyr and return the gem to restore my light and Lumina's." With a renewed sense of purpose, Leo ventured deeper into the forest. The trees were tall and their branches intertwined, creating a canopy of shadows and whispers. He navigated through the dense foliage until he came upon a small, hidden grove filled with sparkling lights and fluttering fireflies. In the center of the grove was Zephyr, a playful sprite with a twinkle in his eye and a mischievous grin. Zephyr was holding the celestial gem, which glowed brightly but was dimming as the sprite played with it. Leo approached Zephyr and spoke kindly, "Zephyr, I've come to ask for the celestial gem. The moon's light is fading, and it's affecting Lumina, the star of wishes." Zephyr looked at Leo with a hint of guilt in his eyes. "I took the gem because I wanted to create a grand display of light for the forest. I didn't realize it would cause such trouble." Leo smiled warmly. "I understand your desire to bring light to the forest, but the moon and the stars need the celestial gem to shine their brightest. If you return it, we can all work together to make the night even more magical." Zephyr, moved by Leo's words, nodded and handed over the celestial gem. "I'm sorry for the trouble I caused. I'll help you return the gem to the moon." With Zephyr's help, Leo returned to the moonlit clearing. The moon's light brightened as soon as the celestial gem was placed back in its rightful place. The sky above sparkled with renewed brilliance, and Lumina's light became steady and bright once more. The moon spoke with gratitude, "Thank you, brave Leo, and kind Zephyr. Your selflessness has restored the balance of the night. As a token of our thanks, we grant you a wish." Leo thought for a moment and said, "I wish for the magic of the stars and the moon to always shine brightly, so that everyone can feel the wonder and joy that I do." The moon and the stars glowed even brighter, filling the sky with a dazzling display of light. Zephyr promised to use his magic to spread joy and wonder throughout the forest. Leo returned to Solara, where the villagers marveled at the brilliant night sky. They celebrated the restoration of Lumina's light and the moon's radiant glow. Leo's bravery and kindness had brought a new magic to their lives. From that night on, every time Leo looked up at the stars, he felt a special connection to the moon and Lumina, knowing that the magic of the night was always there, shining brightly for all to see. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Valoria, there lived a prince named Aiden. He was beloved by his people, known for his bravery and kind heart. Yet, despite his many virtues, the young prince was restless. He had heard stories of magical lands and mystical creatures, and his heart longed for adventure beyond the castle walls. One evening, as Prince Aiden stood on his balcony, gazing at the horizon, a brilliant flash of light streaked across the sky. It was no ordinary star but a bird of fire, with feathers glowing like embers in the night. It circled the moon and then vanished into the forest beyond the kingdom. Aiden's heart raced. He knew the legends of the Firebird, a creature of immense beauty and magic, capable of granting wishes to those who captured one of its feathers. This was the adventure he had been waiting for. Without hesitation, Prince Aiden donned his cloak, took his bow, and mounted his horse. He rode into the night, his path lit by the silvery moonlight and the thought of the Firebird's magic guiding him. After hours of riding, he reached the edge of the Darkwood Forest, a place feared by many for its enchantments and the mysterious creatures that dwelled within. But Aiden was determined. He dismounted and ventured into the woods, following the faint glow of embers that lingered in the air. As he walked deeper into the forest, the trees seemed to whisper secrets, and the air grew thick with enchantment. The path twisted and turned, and soon Aiden found himself at a clearing bathed in golden light. There, perched on a silver branch, was the Firebird. It was even more magnificent than Aiden had imagined. Its feathers shimmered like molten gold, and its eyes gleamed with ancient wisdom. The Firebird sang a song so beautiful, it made the trees sway, and the stars above twinkle more brightly. Aiden knew he had to be careful. legend spoke of the firebird's cleverness. It wouldn't be caught easily. He quietly notched an arrow and took aim, but just as he released it, the firebird turned, dodging the arrow with a graceful flap of its fiery wings. The bird let out a melodic laugh, and Aidan stood frozen in awe. "You seek a feather, do you, young prince?" the firebird said, its voice echoing through the clearing. "Many have tried, but few have succeeded." Aidan lowered his bow, humbled by the bird's presence. "I seek adventure," he admitted. "And perhaps the magic your feather holds." The firebird tilted its head, considering the prince's words. "Adventure you shall have, but my feather comes with a price. For whoever holds it must use its magic for a noble cause." "What will you use my magic for, Prince Aidan?" Aidan thought carefully. He could wish for riches, for power, or for everlasting glory. But then, he remembered his people, the farmers struggling with drought, the children in need of food, and his father, the king, whose strength had begun to fade. "I will use it to heal my kingdom," Aidan said with conviction. "To bring prosperity to my people and to restore my father's health." The firebird's eyes softened, and it spread its wings wide, filling the clearing with warm light. "A noble wish, indeed. But to prove your worth, you must first complete a task." Aidan's heart quickened. "What must I do?" "In the heart of this forest lies the Mirror Lake," the firebird explained. "In its waters dwells the silver serpent, a creature as old as the earth itself. You must retrieve one of its scales and return it here. Only then will I grant you one of my feathers." Without hesitation, Aidan agreed, and the firebird vanished into the sky, leaving a trail of sparks in its wake. Aidan set off deeper into the forest, guided by the light of the moon and the sound of a distant waterfall. After a long journey through tangled vines and towering trees, he came upon Mirror Lake. The water was as still as glass, reflecting the stars and the full moon above. But as he approached the water's edge, ripples began to form. From the depths, the silver serpent emerged, its scales glinting in the moonlight like polished silver. Its eyes, like twin orbs of sapphire, studied Aidan. "Why have you come, Prince?" the serpent asked, its voice low and rumbling. Aidan took a deep breath. "I seek one of your scales, great serpent, so that I may earn the firebird's feather and use its magic to heal my kingdom." The serpent's eyes narrowed. "Many have come seeking my scales, but few have asked with such honesty. You speak the truth, and for that, I will grant your request." The serpent flicked its tail, and a single silver scale fell into Aidan's hand. "Remember, Prince, true power lies not in the magic you seek but in the heart that wields it." Aidan thanked the serpent and hurried back through the forest, cradling the shimmering scale in his hand. When he reached the clearing once more, the firebird was waiting, its wings glowing softly in the darkness. "You have succeeded," the firebird said, its voice filled with approval. "You have proven your heart is pure." With a gentle motion, the firebird plucked a single feather from its wing. It floated down into Aidan's hand, warm to the touch and glowing with a soft, golden light. "Use this feather wisely, Prince Aidan," the firebird said. "Its magic will only answer to a heart that is true." Aidan bowed deeply. "Thank you. I will not forget your kindness." With the feather in hand, Aidan returned to his kingdom. The moment he entered the gates, the feather's magic began to work. The crops, once withered and dry, burst into bloom. The rivers flowed freely, and the land became rich and fertile once more. And in the royal chambers, his father, the king, regained his strength, his illness lifting as though it had never been. The people of Valoria rejoiced, praising their young prince for his bravery and wisdom. But Aidan knew the truth, that it was not just the feather's magic that had saved them, but the lessons he had learned along the way. And so, the kingdom flourished, and Prince Aidan, with his newfound wisdom, ruled with kindness and justice, always remembering that true magic came not from the firebird's feather but from the strength and love he carried within. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a realm where lush forests met sparkling rivers, there was a village named Rivendell. Rivendell was known for its vibrant flora, glistening streams, and the enchanting tales of magical creatures that roamed its land. Among these creatures was a legendary fox known as Lumina, the sapphire fox. Lumina was not an ordinary fox. Her fur shone with a sapphire blue hue that sparkled under the moonlight, and she was said to possess the ability to grant a single wish to those who proved themselves worthy. The villagers of Rivendell held the sapphire fox in great reverence, for it was believed that Lumina could bring prosperity, heal ailments, and even mend broken hearts. However, despite many tales and whispers, Lumina had not been seen for decades. The village elder, a wise woman named Seraphina, often told stories about Lumina to the children, urging them to believe in the magic of the fox and the power of a pure heart. One winter's night, a great blizzard struck Rivendell, bringing with it harsh winds and heavy snow. The village's once clear rivers froze over, and food became scarce. The villagers, although resourceful, struggled to cope with the harsh conditions. Young Elwyn, a courageous and kind-hearted boy who had always been fascinated by the tales of Lumina, decided he would seek out the sapphire fox and ask for help. With a sturdy cloak, a small satchel of provisions, and a heart full of hope, Elwyn set out into the snow-covered forest. He followed the old legends and clues Seraphina had shared, guided by the stories of where Lumina might be found. Elwyn's journey took him through 3 magical trials, each testing his bravery and kindness. The first trial was the trial of the frozen lake. Elwyn reached a shimmering lake that was completely frozen over, with the ice reflecting the pale moonlight. At the center of the lake, a solitary figure, a majestic white swan, was trapped in the ice. To proceed, Elwyn needed to help the swan without breaking the fragile ice. He carefully used a branch to free the swan and, once released, the swan gave him a silver feather as a token of gratitude. Elwyn knew this feather would be important for his journey. The second trial was the trial of the Whispering Pines. As Elwyn ventured deeper into the forest, he encountered a grove of tall pine trees that whispered secrets and riddles. The trees were enchanted and created illusions to confuse travelers. To pass this trial, Elwyn had to discern the true path from the illusions. He listened carefully and used the silver feather as a guide, following the path illuminated by the swan's gift. The trees parted to reveal a clear path, acknowledging Elwyn's wisdom and patience. The final trial was the trial of the glowing cave. Elwyn entered a cave where the walls glittered with gemstones, casting strange and mesmerizing lights. At the heart of the cave was a large crystal with a soft, blue glow. Guarding the crystal was a fierce but sorrowful dragon whose scales shimmered like sapphires. The dragon, though fearsome, was not evil. It was merely guarding the crystal out of loneliness and sadness. Elwyn approached the dragon with compassion, speaking kindly and offering the silver feather as a gift. The dragon's heart softened, and it allowed Elwyn to take a small piece of the glowing crystal. With the crystal in hand, Elwyn followed a path that led him to a hidden glen bathed in moonlight. There, under a great oak tree, was Lumina, the sapphire fox. Her fur sparkled like the night sky, and her eyes shone with ancient wisdom. Elwyn approached Lumina and spoke from his heart. "Great Lumina, our village is suffering from the harsh winter, and we need your help. Please, if you can, grant us relief from this blizzard." Lumina looked at Elwyn with kindness and saw the sincerity in his eyes. "You have shown great bravery and compassion on your journey," she said. "For your pure heart, I shall grant your wish." With a graceful movement, Lumina touched the glowing crystal with her paw. The crystal's light expanded, and a warm, gentle rain began to fall from the sky. The rain melted the snow and ice, nourishing the land and bringing relief to the village of Rivendell. Elwyn returned to the village as the storm cleared, bringing with him the tale of his adventure and the miraculous rain. The villagers were overjoyed, and their gratitude was boundless. They celebrated Elwyn's bravery and the return of the sapphire fox's magic. From that day on, Rivendell flourished, and the village thrived under the protection of the sapphire fox. The legend of Lumina was passed down through generations, a tale of courage, kindness, and the magic that resides in those who believe with a pure heart. And so, in the kingdom of Rivendell, where the rivers ran clear and the forests thrived, The story of Elwyn and the Sapphire Fox was forever cherished, a reminder that even in the coldest times, warmth and magic could be found through acts of bravery and love. The end. Once upon a time, nestled between misty hills and rolling meadows, there was a small village called Brookhaven. The village was known for its gentle folk and peaceful life, but it held a deep secret, a tale of a forgotten kingdom, a land of magic and splendor that had vanished from the world many years ago. The story spoke of an enchanted lantern that could reveal the forgotten kingdom to those with a pure heart and noble intentions. This lantern, with its intricate patterns and glowing light, was said to be hidden in the forest, awaiting someone worthy to find it and restore the kingdom's lost magic. In Brookhaven lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Arya. Arya had always been fascinated by the legends of the Forgotten Kingdom. Every evening, she would sit by the fireplace with her grandmother, listening to tales of enchanted realms and heroic quests. One stormy night, as the wind howled and rain tapped against the window, Arya found an old, dusty lantern in the attic, tucked away among forgotten trinkets. The lantern was adorned with shimmering stars and moons, and when Arya touched it, it glowed softly, casting a warm light. Remembering the tales, Arya's heart raced. Could this be the enchanted lantern from the legend? Determined to uncover the truth, Arya set off into the forest with the lantern in hand. The rain had stopped, and a silvery mist hung in the air. Guided by the lantern's soft glow, she ventured deeper into the forest than she had ever gone before. After hours of walking, Arya arrived at a clearing where the lantern's light grew brighter, revealing an ancient archway covered in ivy and moss. The archway led to a hidden path that shimmered with magical energy. Arya stepped through the archway, and the world around her seemed to change. The forest gave way to a breathtaking landscape of floating islands, glittering waterfalls, and sparkling meadows. She had found the Forgotten Kingdom. As Arya explored the kingdom, she noticed that it was both beautiful and desolate, as if time had stood still. The kingdom's magic seemed dormant, and its enchanting creatures were nowhere to be seen. At the heart of the kingdom stood a grand palace, its spires reaching towards the sky and its halls echoing with silence. Inside the palace, Arya encountered a regal figure, a queen with a crown of starlight and eyes like the night sky. The queen introduced herself as Queen Lyra, the last ruler of the Forgotten Kingdom. "Welcome, brave Arya," Queen Lyra said with a voice that was both melancholy and hopeful. "You have found our kingdom and awakened the lantern's magic. To restore our land's enchantment, you must complete 3 tasks. Each task will test your heart and spirit." Arya nodded, ready to take on the challenge. "What must I do?" Task 1, the Withered Garden. Queen Lyra led Arya to a once vibrant garden where flowers had withered and trees stood barren. The garden's magic had been lost due to a curse of sadness. To restore the garden, Arya had to plant a special seed and care for it with love and patience. She found the seed in a golden pouch and planted it in the center of the garden. With tender care, she watered it and sang to it. As she did, the garden began to bloom with vibrant colors, and the trees regained their lush foliage. Task 2, the Crystal Lake. The second task took Arya to a crystal-clear lake that had become dark and murky. The lake's magic had been clouded by a spell of sorrow. Arya discovered that the lake's waters could be cleansed by sharing a heartfelt story. She sat by the lake and recounted tales of joy, hope, and friendship from her village. As her stories flowed, the waters began to sparkle once more, reflecting the clear, radiant light of the sky. Task 3, the Enchanted Fountain. The final task brought Arya to a grand fountain in the palace courtyard. The fountain had once been a source of pure, magical water but had run dry. To restore it, Arya needed to fill it with a special elixir made from the essence of hope and dreams. She discovered that the elixir could be created by mixing moonlight with a drop of her own tears of happiness. Arya collected moonlight in a crystal vial and added a single tear. When she poured the elixir into the fountain, it began to flow with shimmering, magical water. With all tasks completed, the Forgotten Kingdom's magic was fully restored. The land came alive with vibrant colors, enchanting creatures, and a renewed sense of wonder. Queen Lyra thanked Arya for her bravery and kindness. "You have brought back the magic of our kingdom," Queen Lyra said. "As a token of our gratitude, we wish to offer you a gift." Queen Lyra presented Arya with a beautifully carved box. Inside was a magical gem that would allow Arya to visit the Forgotten Kingdom whenever she wished. The gem's light would guide her back to the land of enchantment. Arya returned to Brookhaven, her heart filled with joy and wonder. She shared the story of her adventure and the magic of the Forgotten Kingdom with her village. The enchanted lantern was placed in a special place, and the tale of Arya's bravery and the kingdom's revival became a cherished legend in Brookhaven. And so, the legend of the enchanted lantern and the Forgotten Kingdom lived on, a reminder that even the most hidden magic could be discovered by those with a pure heart and a spirit of adventure. The kingdom flourished once more, and its beauty was shared with the world, inspiring future generations to seek out their own wonders and embrace the magic within their hearts. Once upon a time, in a land where the sky was painted with the colors of dawn and dusk, there was a tranquil village nestled beside a grand, ancient forest. At the heart of this forest stood a magnificent willow tree known as the Whispering Willow. Legend spoke of its ability to communicate with the creatures of the forest and grant wishes to those who were pure of heart. In this village lived a young girl named Aisling. Aisling had always been drawn to the forest and the Whispering Willow. Her mother had told her stories about the willow's magic and the secret it kept, a hidden kingdom that lay beyond the reach of ordinary folk. Though she was only 11, Aisling's curiosity and kindness had won her the affection of everyone in the village. One evening, as Aisling sat by the edge of the forest, she heard a soft, melodious whisper coming from the direction of the Whispering Willow. The voice was faint but clear, like a gentle breeze carrying secrets. "Aisling," it whispered, "the time has come for you to embark on a journey to find the hidden kingdom and restore balance to our world." Aisling's heart raced with excitement and determination. She had always dreamed of seeing the hidden kingdom, and now, it seemed her dream was coming true. She quickly gathered a small satchel with essentials, some bread, a flask of water, and a map her mother had once given her. As she approached the Whispering Willow, she saw that its branches were glowing softly in the twilight. The tree spoke again, its voice like the rustling of leaves. "To find the hidden kingdom, you must first complete 3 tasks that will test your courage, wisdom, and kindness. Follow the path illuminated by my light." With the willow's guidance, Aisling entered the forest, where the trees seemed to part for her, revealing a path bathed in a soft, silver glow. The first task awaited her, a trial of courage. Aisling came upon a deep, dark ravine with a narrow, rickety bridge made of vines and wooden planks. The bridge swayed precariously over the chasm. Aisling took a deep breath and stepped onto the bridge. It creaked and wobbled. But she focused on the light from the willow, guiding her steps. With each careful step, the bridge steadied, and Aisling made it across safely. On the other side of the ravine stood a wise old owl perched on a branch. "You have passed the trial of courage," the owl said. "Now, for the trial of wisdom." The owl led Aisling to a large stone with an ancient inscription. "To proceed, you must solve this riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I?" Aisling pondered the riddle, recalling the stories her mother had told her. "An echo," she answered confidently. The owl nodded and flapped its wings, revealing a hidden door behind the stone. "You have shown wisdom. The final trial awaits you, the trial of kindness." Aisling walked through the hidden door and entered a beautiful glade where animals of all kinds were gathered. Many were injured or in distress. The scene was heart-wrenching. The animals looked at her with hopeful eyes, as if they were waiting for her help. Using her knowledge of herbs and her gentle touch, Aisling tended to the animals. She healed their wounds, provided them with fresh water, and comforted them. As she worked, the glade began to glow with a warm, golden light. With the final trial complete, a magical portal appeared in the center of the glade. The Whispering Willow's voice spoke again, "You have proven yourself worthy. Enter the portal to find the hidden kingdom and restore its balance." Aisling stepped through the portal and found herself in a breathtaking kingdom of shimmering lights and floating islands. The hidden kingdom was unlike anything she had ever seen: crystal clear lakes, soaring mountains, and sparkling meadows. However, she soon saw that the kingdom was in disarray. The once beautiful landscape was marred by dark, swirling clouds and wilted plants. At the center of the kingdom stood a grand palace, and inside it, a regal queen awaited her. The queen's eyes were filled with sadness. The kingdom's magic has been disrupted, and only the pure-hearted can restore its balance. Aisling, you have proven yourself through the trials. To bring balance back, you must unite the 3 lost artifacts of the kingdom. Aisling nodded and set out on her quest. She discovered that the artifacts, a crystal orb, a golden staff, and a silver pendant, were hidden in 3 separate locations, each guarded by magical creatures. The first artifact, the crystal orb, was hidden in a cave guarded by a fire-breathing dragon. Aisling approached the dragon with respect and bravery, explaining her quest. The dragon, moved by her sincerity, allowed her to take the orb, giving her a blessing for her journey. The second artifact, the golden staff, was located in a lush garden guarded by a mischievous fairy. Aisling showed kindness by helping the fairy with a task, untangling a web of enchanted vines that had ensnared some small creatures. In gratitude, the fairy handed over the staff. The third artifact, the silver pendant, was in a floating tower guarded by a wise old sage. The sage challenged Aisling to a test of heart, asking her to reveal her deepest desire. Aisling's answer was simple but profound: I wish for a world where kindness and courage lead the way. The sage, touched by her wish, gave her the pendant. With all 3 artifacts in hand, Aisling returned to the palace. She placed each artifact in its designated spot, on a pedestal in the palace's grand hall. The artifacts began to glow brightly, and the dark clouds that had overshadowed the kingdom started to dissipate. The landscape transformed back into its radiant, magical state. The queen smiled with immense relief and joy. You have restored the balance and brought back the kingdom's magic. For your bravery, wisdom, and kindness, you shall always be remembered here. Aisling returned to her village, where she was greeted with great celebration. The villagers marveled at her bravery and the tales of the hidden kingdom. The Whispering Willow continued to thrive, and Aisling's story became a cherished legend. And so, Aisling lived a life filled with wonder and adventure, always carrying the lessons of courage, wisdom, and kindness in her heart. The Hidden Kingdom remained a beacon of magic and hope, a reminder of the extraordinary power of a pure heart. The end.